Hello and welcome to Dr. Mommy Cake's cake decorating tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how to decorate with fondant. So whether you're a cake decorating beginner or whether you have worked with fondant before, I'm sure you'll find this tutorial very useful. Now the list of all the ingredients you need are in the description section. You also need to have some cornstarch. This is good to stop your fondants from sticking to your tools and to your work surface and to your hands. So I have prepped my fondant by kneading it. This is an important step that you have to do when you are working with fondant. And I have a video that shows you how to prep your fondant ready to go. Now, one thing about fondant is that it dries out easily. So when you're not working with a piece of fondant, wrap it in cling film so that it doesn't dry out. Now, I'm going to be colouring this piece of fondant using gel colouring. And I'm using a cocktail stick just to apply a little bit onto my fondant. When I'm colouring fondant, I like to wear gloves so that my hands don't get coloured. So that's why I'm wearing gloves here. So knead it nicely until the colour is nicely incorporated into your piece of fondant. So to create the marble pattern, you start off with solid blocks of 3 different colours, or you can use as many colours as you want. So here I'm using white, blue and purple. And you want to stack them next to each other, and then use your rolling pin to roll it nice and flat. And then you want to kind of fold it onto itself so that the colours start to marble into each other. But just do it very, very gently so that the colour pattern is not lost. And you keep folding and rolling until you are happy with the end result. So once you're happy with the marbled pattern, roll it nice and flat, and then we're going to use our cutter to cut out the shapes. So one way to stop your cutter from sticking to your fondant is to dust the cutter with some cornstarch, so that prevents the cutter from sticking to your fondant, and then you can cut your desired shape. And this technique works not just for making toppers, but you can also use it for actually decorating your whole cake. If you're going to decorate your whole cake, obviously you'll need to have a lot more fondant, enough to cover your cake with. When I'm handing fondant, I like to dust my hand with corn flour as well. So again, that stops things from sticking. So I'm using the same piece of fondant. I'm just folding it back onto itself and repeating the process of rolling over. And by doing this, you will have, a nice variation of different coloured marbled effect. And you can just cut as many shapes as you want with the same piece of fondant. If you want to do any embossing into your fondant shapes, now is the time to do so while the fondant is still soft. If you leave it too long and the fondant hardens, then it'll be difficult. Here I'm using the yellow one, was my Sweet Stamps embosser, but I also used my PME Fond France, which is one of my favorite embossers. But you can use whatever embossers or lettering equipment that you have. So here are our finished fondant shapes, and you can see the beautiful variation and the marbling pattern. So it looks really, really, really good, and I'm quite happy with the end results. So I leave that to dry overnight, and here I am attaching it to my cake. So I'm using some buttercream to act as a little bit of glue, and then I'm gluing it and sticking it onto my cake. So this is a cake that has been chilled in the fridge for about 15 minutes, so it's nice and firm. So I know that when I put my fondant shapes on, I'm not going to smudge or ruin the buttercream. So in a nutshell, that is how to make marbled pattern onto fondant, and that works well for making fondant shapes and for decorating your case with. I hope that you'll try this technique for your next cake. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the notification button. I post a new video every week. Thank you for watching and I will see you next week. Happy baking!